Okay, here we are. Welcome. Welcome to the stream. Welcome back. Sorry it's been so long since I have streamed here on the channel. It just hasn't fit into the schedule lately, and, we've had our usual technical issues, so things happen. It's all right. I hope you're doing well. I hope the audio is coming through okay, and then we'll get the rest of the stuff figured out as we go along. Getting my water. What's today? Sunday. Oh my gosh. Sorry. I was sleeping on the floor half an hour ago. So I'm trying to get back into the saddle here, but here we are. Welcome back. Yeah, once again, I just haven't had time to stream lately, and it's been harder to keep up with the channel stuff lately too, because I've moved to a new job, technically 2 new jobs, but not 2 full-time jobs. So schedule is completely different. I'm trying to reorient and everything and adjust to my new schedule. So please forgive me if there are gaps in the videos and stuff. It's just, yeah, I have way less free time all of a sudden. Ugo's here already. Welcome, Ugo. Welcome back. Thank you so much for being here. Ugo says good morning. Fair enough. I think that's Ugo's signature by this point. Welcome back. Yeah. Back. Here we are again. We're doing it. I'm sort of awake. I've had some coffee at some point today. And I'll do stuff. I don't know. I'll probably play some Bolt Gun, because I've been playing that game lately, and it's actually pretty good in terms of, one of these modern age throwback boomer shooter kind of games. It's pretty good. It's simple enough to play, and it's probably something I can play without, while streaming, without just getting completely lost in what's going on. So I guess that's what we'll try to do. We'll see if the internet connection and everything works out, and cooperates with us. But otherwise, as usual, I'm just here to chat. If anybody has been watching stuff that they would like to talk about, if anybody has been playing stuff that they would like to talk about, go for it. That's what I'm here to do. It's kind of like an office hours thing for the channel, almost at this point. People can just cruise on by, say hello, and talk about basically whatever for a while. And that's about it. Cool. Ugo says we all have to eat to live, and we have to work to get food. So far, maybe one day we'll get that UBI, the universal basic income, and we won't have to work just to eat. We'll just work for other reasons, but not today. So yeah, so I've been working a new job, and it's like it's basically standard 9 to 5 kind of thing, as opposed to the freelancing stuff that I've been doing for a long time. So it's very good. I'll say that it's a positive thing, and it's a positive move for, career and being a person, all that stuff. But it is a bit of a change for sure in terms of my schedule and just going from day to day, and what I'm doing from day to day. Internet's already dropping off. You know what? I'm going to ignore it as long as possible and hope it rebounds. But yeah, otherwise, I mean, you'll have a blurry image to deal with, as per usual. And the only other thing I'll say is that I've actually been considering offering podcast-style streams from this point on, specifically because the internet is so uncooperative with what we do here, with where I happen to live in a very old building, etc., that I've been like, what if I just did like a podcast-style stream where it's really just about the audio? Would anybody care about that at all? Because I do know there are a fair number of people who like, putting on my streams after the fact when they're not live anymore, just as like a longer form video. It's just something to have in the background. So if that's you, then you're in luck, and I think I could provide that with audio-centric streams. But if there are people expecting more visual stuff out of a stream, then yeah, it wouldn't make a lot of sense, would it? So we'll see. Who knows? Maybe that's something I'll try in the near future. For today, it's the same old macro blocked low bit rate kind of stream that we usually do. Ugo says, I'm sure that UBI will only be for consumer goods and not for food. Potentially. I mean, I guess it would be, like they would really have to settle on a specific definition for consumer goods then, right? Like what? Like household items, I suppose, would fall under that category. Maybe clothes to a certain extent would fall under that category. What else? I don't know. I would really hope, and I doubt that UBI will really happen anytime soon, if at all. But if it does, I would kind of hope that it would. The whole goal would be to cover the super basics. So we'll see, or not, because it probably won't happen. But anyway, but how have you been, Ugo? What's up? Sorry, I haven't been on the Discord for a while too. I haven't even promoted the Discord. I don't know if anybody on the channel even knows that it exists. So I'll get back to doing that at some point. But have you been watching anything good lately, Ugo? Have you seen anything good? Is there some hot new animation news that you think I should know about? Should I get my wrist rest here? A very cool wrist rest to hopefully prevent some of the carpal tunnel I'm accumulating over time while I play my computer games. Sensitivity is way too high. This is 40k bolt gun. I'm kind of far in, and I put it on streamer mode, so it's super easy at this point. So don't worry about that. But yeah, it's one of those contemporary games, mimicking the what do we say, mid to late 90s DOS into Windows 3.1 games, specifically shooters, Doom, all that kind of stuff, early Doom games. And it's pretty good. It's all right. Also, let me know about the levels, the audio levels here, because it should be relatively quiet. But, guys, too much health. What do I do about that? Oh, there's a key up there. Did I need to get that? Feel like I need to get that. All right. Here we are. Cool. Ugo says UBI will happen, but won't happen soon. It will not be able to help. It will not be able to help people, but to make sure the spending does not go down. Interesting. So just ensuring that people continue to buy stuff, and ensuring that people can continue to buy stuff by giving them pocket money, basically. Is that the idea? It would really depend on who actually implements it, But yeah, I have not been confident. I don't even hear it talked about all that much anymore. What do I got here? Where am I going? I wonder if this is a good way to go. Okay, there we go. We good? Excuse me. More guys. There we go. Seems like a trap. Nope. No, sir. Nope. You keep looking at UBI as a socialist and not a capitalist. I mean, yes, that's closer to my perspective, and it's a good point. I'm trying to stay confident. There's a better day ahead. And you know why, Ugo, in particular, is because lately I've been watching a ton of the old Star Trek shows, right? I've been watching a lot of TNG and Voyager. And that's such a core part of, like, that era of Star Trek stuff. Like, money is no longer a factor. Like, it's just not part of human society. And there's still elements of, what do we say? Careers are still a thing in the Star Trek universe where, like, prestige is something that people still very much care about, or like status, you know? So it's not like everybody's completely equal across the board in terms of how they're seen and everything by others. But money, finances is no longer the deciding factor, right? Of power within a given society or community, whatever. So yeah, just saturating myself in old Star Trek stuff, it kind of gets me on that very unrealistic and wishful train of thought of like, wouldn't that be great if this is actually what we're headed towards? Is if we're actually heading towards a place of, being judged or seen based on personality, abilities, career, etc. Like I'm on board with that, even as just a fantasy, even if that's just my little escapist fantasy that I cling to from day to day. That's okay too. Man, this guy's just not going down, huh? Anyway, but yeah, what's up? Have you watched anything good recently? Have there been any big animated movies coming out recently? I don't think so. I know there's yet another Trolls movie coming out, which I don't know. Do people still care about troll? Like, do animation fans still want people to dunk on trolls? Stuff like that. I have not been super invested in the Trolls franchise overall. I think I liked the second one. Was it the second one that was sort of about, like, it had a section about cultural appropriation? Because I think the second movie is the one where it's like all the different genres of music have to not fight but get together, and there's the rock trolls or something, or trying to start a conflict. As you can see, my memory of it is just not there. Oh, Tubes is here. How's it going? Welcome back. So sorry for staying away, but as I was making my excuses earlier, it's just new schedule, new life. Gotta adjust to stuff. Anyway, welcome back. Thanks for being here. Dude says, which Star Trek shows do you watch? So I rewatch TNG all the time. I mean, like so many people, I really like TNG. I think it's great. But I watched Voyager for the very first time. So I just finished my first watch of Voyager like a few days ago. And it's a lot. It's 7 seasons, right? I think it's 7 seasons total, which is the same number of seasons as TNG. And it was just something I'd never touched. I had just never dug into it at all. So it was kind of fun to see another new to me Star Trek show. I'm backtracking already, aren't I? That I hadn't touched at all, but that was completely new to me. It felt fresh and different, and it is a different tone, of course, from TNG. So there was stuff to like. I wasn't the biggest fan of it. Are you into Star Trek too? Have we talked about that before? I'm sure there's a good chance we've talked about it before. But do you have any particular favorites there? Ugo says they still have private ownership of land, but how were they able to buy land if there's no money? That's funny, and it's a good point, because that's something that came up, I think, in discussions around the Picard show, right? So the more modern Star Trek stuff has tried to be more critical of the Star Trek universe, right? And in particular, yes, people have brought up the point that, like, wait, so Picard's family has owned this particular piece of land for hundreds of years, and that's it? So, like, the old land ownership rules just stay in effect, apparently? So yeah, it is a big question. And I will say that at least in, across all the Star Trek shows that I've seen, they don't really make an effort to... I was here already, wasn't I? Or does it just look identical to the place I was before? That's a sort of problem with this game that a lot of people are talking about, is it's so loyal to the old boomer shooter, game design tenets that, like, it's kind of not good map design. I don't want to go all the way down there again just to find... I do have the yellow key now, so it's fine. Okay. It's fine. Anyway, Toot says I'm into Star Trek, but I've only really watched TNG, DS9, and most of the modern shows. Fair. Did you watch season 3 of Picard? Because that's something else I have watched probably since the last time I streamed. if you have any thoughts on that, please let me know. I would be happy to dig into it. Yeah, TNG's the best. I have never finished DS9 either. I need to. But I refuse to sign up for Paramount Plus to stream it all. So I have to get my hands on some other copy somewhere to actually finish that show. But I've only heard very good things. You know, tons of people. For tons of people, DS9 is the best Trek show. You know, so cool. I'm on board with that. Is this the same place again? Did the key not get me anywhere? This seems very much the same. No. Yeah, there's somewhere to use the key down here that I missed. Let's take a look. Dun, dun, dun. Whoa, 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 whoa. Does anybody like Warhammer? Warhammer? I know nothing about Warhammer. I know that I liked the older Space Marine game. And that's it. That's all I know. This is the door. Oh my gosh. Let me pause here for a second. I can catch up on chat. Most of my attitude says, looking forward to the new season of Strange New Worlds. Look, I got that without having to look it up. Cool. I only watched a couple episodes of Strange New Worlds because they were free on YouTube for a second. But it seems like people like that more than Discovery. Discovery's dead now, right? So that's that. Dead, but don't have to worry about that anymore. Picard is done now. I'm kind of happy about that. Star Trek Starfleet Academy they announced. Have no idea whether or not that will happen. Anyway, Ugo says, yes, the second Trolls movie is about the music and the Six Strings of Power. Yes, have yet to see it. Movie was the first major movie that came out to video on demand VOD due to COVID-19. Was it? That does make sense. Man, how long ago does that feel to you guys, by the way, the pandemic stuff? Because every once in a while it dawns on me that I started the channel a month before COVID started. Starting the channel feels like a very long time ago. Pandemic stuff does not necessarily feel like a long time ago to me at all. It kind of feels recent. So it's very weird. The sense that my sense of time is just shot. It's just, I don't know. Someone's chasing me. Oh. Falling off a cliff. Okay. There we go. Oh, he turned into two more guys? Yeah, the second Trolls movie was actually decent. I mean, like, I have to put so many qualifiers on that. It's DreamWorks. It's DreamWorks. And as DreamWorks reminded us with Last Wish, they have incredibly talented people behind the scenes, right? And they can execute really cool new ideas when they feel like it. Trolls, they're not terrible movies, you know? The writing isn't especially good. The visuals are not the most creative thing in the world, but at the same time, it's still executed very well. There are funny moments. There are neat elements to the visuals. Even just in terms of like overall clarity and horsepower of rendering all their different visuals for those movies. Yeah, like they are impressive in a lot of ways. They're just not anything super special. So I think people have started to see them as, you know, more akin to the Illumination stuff, right? Where it's really just meant for kids, and then the parents will put up with it, and it'll make a bunch of money, and then they can move on. Is this guy spawning people, or what? What is happening here? You stay over there, sir. You stay there. Okay. Sorry, this is apparently a big fight section, so I'm just gonna work on this for a little bit. This is not the right weapon for this guy, I'll tell you that. How about this? Wow. Wow. Okay. Give me some of those. Okay, sorry. S&W, I think, is Strange New Worlds. Yeah, Toots might have already answered that. But yeah, Strange New Worlds, and that's what they're heading into season 2 of that, so that's pretty darn recent for the new Trek stuff, right? Where am I going? I'll take a pause. Toot says, I deeply resent Paramount Plus coming to Canada because they took a bunch of their properties off of other streaming services, but they don't have quite enough content to be worth subscribing to. No, I mean, outside of the Canada specific stuff, I completely agree with that. Where like every once in a while I'll come across, I just slapped the wall. Every once in a while I will come across a show, that I really want to watch, and it happens to be on Paramount Plus. But it's not a make or break show. It's not a show that I'm like, I need to have access to this 100%. Those kinds of shows I buy. I buy them somewhere, or, get copies, whatever. That was an accident. I also just don't, I have interacted with Paramount Plus a little bit. I think I was on somebody else's account and they had the ad tier, right? And I mean, I don't want to complain about it for the next hour or anything, but I have some strong feelings about paying, to still get ads on streaming services, and Paramount in particular is very sleazy in the way that they implement the ads. Like the pause screen ads are my least favorite thing. Like it's just like, oh, we're looking for new ways to be awful. Like we want to find every possible way to milk money out of you and to say to our advertisers, we've got them. We got them by the neck, and we're going to force them to see all these ads. If they dare to pause the episode they are watching, they will be forced to look at an ad for some stupid thing. And it's not a good feeling. It doesn't make you feel like the company you're engaging with respects you all that much. I don't know. I'm obviously kind of bitter about that stuff. But anyway, yeah, I do not like Paramount Plus. And like a lot of the other streaming services, they're charging so much money now for the ad-free plans. It's just crazy. I wish I could do something like HBO, or sorry, just Max now. It's too much money. That's too much money. That's too much money to be paying to watch like one of the Harry Potter movies every once in a while. It just doesn't make financial sense. Let me check for... Toot says, also, I feel like you should be able to sue your ISP for fraud for speeds. I mean, potentially. Funny thing is now it's showing red bitrate, but the bitrate is higher than I ever get. So it's kind of strange. But they are terrible. And by the way, it's already getting in the way of my work too, where people are like, why is your connection so bad? It's like, I can't, it's bad. I'm sorry. I can't do much about it. Ugo says, I like Star Trek Lower Decks, but season 1 and a lot of season 2 has lots of parts where they have to try hard to say that this is a cartoon for adults, that they add unneeded sex and violence. Oh, really? Interesting. I never committed to that one much either. I think that was a similar situation where I saw the first couple of episodes of season 1 because they're trying to get people interested. They'll just post them on the internet for free. Yeah, my initial impression of Lower Decks wasn't great. I maybe even made a video about that way back when. But I've not kept up with it, and I do know that there are plenty of people who really like that show. I mean, same thing with Strange New Worlds. Like it has an audience, and that audience is genuine. I think there are a lot of old school Star Trek fans who like those shows. That's great. So it might be something where I should really go back and not revisit those shows, but visit them for the first time. So we'll see. But anyway, but yeah, so it's definitely been a mixed bag in terms of the newer developed Star Trek shows. I guess I'm kind of glad they haven't been doing a whole slew of movies as well for this push. But yeah, it's just such a mixed bag. Picard season 3 was obviously it seems to be kind of a turning point. Do I need to jump down here? Or am I going to get myself trapped forever? Hugo says feels off for a Star Trek show, but they've toned it down for season 3, and I can't wait for season 4. They're in season 4 already. Oh my gosh! Again, the time warp stuff. I just have a hard time keeping track of what all's been going on and how long these shows have been on. Anyway, but hey, I'm glad to hear that you're into Lower Decks. And yeah, the adult animation aspect of it, I don't know. That's kind of what turned me off from the show initially too, was just not only the similarities to Rick and Morty, but specifically like the similarities to the Adult Swim style adult animation, you know, where it's rude and they'll say the naughty words, and that's mostly the extent of the adult content. Otherwise, it could just be like a cleverly written show, you know? So I can't speak to that point based on my own viewing, but it sounds in line with what they were doing with the show previously. Man, these little guys, stop jumping around. Stop it. Stop. Are we good? Nope. Not good. Got that guy. Okay. There we go. And yeah, Toods, maybe if I was in Canada or the EU, I could sue my ISP for some kind of false advertising, but I don't think we have those kinds of protections here. Oh. Good. Nope. Wow, this is a lot. This is a lot. This is a whole situation down here, isn't it? I'm surprised I still have ammo. I guess that's a positive. Okay. 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 Can we have a bit of a break now? So yeah. So did anybody see season 3 of Picard? Does anyone care about that? I think it was kind of a shock to a lot of people, and it was definitely a shock to myself as well, because I didn't watch the first 2 seasons of the show. I didn't touch them. I saw some reviews, and that was about it, you know? But I was not expecting anything from that show, but people really liked season 3, specifically the old Trek fans have really liked season 3, and are pushing for that producer-director, Terry Matalas, who headed up season 3, as far as I know, to do more shows and to have more shows kind of in that style, if you can call it a style. So yeah, kind of big news on the new Trek front, of course. We'll see whether or not... Oh, this is new. This is a new weapon. Let's see what does this one do? Wonder where I should go. I guess here. Okay, so it's what, like explosive energy beams or something? I don't know how good this gun feels to use. Just want to get these big guys out of the way. It works on the little guys, no problem. That is, yeah. There we are. Oh yes, another important question, completely unrelated to Star Trek, by the way, fellas. So I know we've talked about the Harry Potter movies before in streams. I can guarantee that we have at some point. The Harry Potter movies are endlessly fascinating to me. Not the new ones, and JK is a mess, and I'm not into it. But I have my old copies of those movies. Which of those is the good one to watch on a Sunday? Which of those is like the easiest to ignore and the best like low stakes Harry Potter story? Just the story itself. What do we got? I'm ready to field opinions on this one because I have my thoughts and I'll say them eventually. try... No, not that one. No, not that one. This one. Oh, this is gonna... This is like a whole thing, huh? Why is he not fighting me? What? Is this like part of his shtick? Is he gonna come after me soon? Now he is. Okay. I have no ammo. Uh-oh. That doesn't seem to be working. This is... that took a turn. See if we can get some ammo going here. What, who are these people? Okay. Where's the big guy? Did he just dematerialize or something? What is that? Okay. Are we good? Everyone's gone? Oh, there he is. Now we got him. Slow and steady on that one. That was a lot of chipping away. Okay. All right. I have no idea where I'm going, of course, but we'll figure it out at some point. Cool. All right. Okay. Also, please let me know if there are any technical issues with the stream outside of the normal stuff anyway. Although if the stream is dropped, then we're out of luck completely, aren't we? I don't think that's ever happened, except for copyright reasons. Toot says, I really like Lower Decks, as long as you accept the adult animated comedy vibe. It's a really fun show. I really like when franchises try to do something different, even if the result is pretty bad. I support that opinion. I definitely haven't always felt that way about shows, especially if it's stuff that I was really invested in. I want more of the same. I'll admit that. But no, at the same time, yeah, new ideas, bringing new people in to kind of put a new perspective on an old property, I think is the only way to move forward in a lot of those scenarios. So, I mean, heck, they've done that with Star Trek for better or worse. In a lot of cases, they've definitely done it with Star Wars over in Disney World, so to speak. And yeah, by the way, I will mention briefly, you guys are into animation and pop culture stuff, so you've probably already seen it. But they did announce a season 2. Maybe it's already released. There's a season 2 of Star Wars Visions, which is where they get different animation studios to animate like sort of one-off Star Wars stories. Season 2 looks great. Season 1 was exclusively anime studios, I think, in Japan, and this one is just bunch of studios from all over the place, and it looks pretty good, again, just for the sake of the variety. They get to do things that would not be done in a major movie. It's an opportunity for attempts at different tones and execution and all that. So I actually like the Star Wars Visions concept. And in particular, the selections through season 2 just look great. I think they got Aardman involved, the Wallace and Gromit studio, based in the UK. So neat. If it has already been released, then I'll watch it soon. If it has not, then I eagerly look forward to seeing it soon. But yeah, it looks neat, and I think it's a good example of what you were just mentioning, Toots. It helps. It helps to get that variety, and it opens potential doors. And it's also an easy way for from a cynical motivation, it's an easy way for the company that owns this stuff to say, oh, this particular thing we tried was popular. We can try to do more of that. We can try to explore a new avenue. Now, this is not the right gun for this. Okay. Am I missing stuff? Oh, there's a guy there. Sorry, I thought I had a nice pause. Ugo says, what about movie 7 part 1? That's the one where I can't remember anything about it but the end. Does the Star Wars or Star Trek movie number 7? In either case, not being able to remember most of the story definitely applies for me. Oh, I'm sorry. You're talking about Harry Potter. Man, this is how quickly I forget things. Yeah. Yeah, so that's Deathly Hallows Part 1, right? Yeah, that's not a very good movie overall, like in a more objective sense, I guess. But specifically for what I was asking about, of just like ignoring it and just every once in a while you see what's happening on there, I think I 100% agree. Isn't that the road trip one? Where they're just like, Harry, you and your core group here, go run away into the woods. They're camping in the woods, right? That was a weird one. That was even the idea of splitting that final story up into two separate movies. Like you probably could have cut it down. They didn't want to. Tooch says, for ongoing franchises, I will happily accept more of the same, but I hate it when IP holders feel like they have to cater to annoying fandom nerds all the time and can't deviate even a little bit. Yeah, no, don't worry. We're on the same page as we are with a lot of things. But yeah, I don't know. Sometimes it's gotta stop hitting that button by accident. Sometimes it's hard to compare like online, arguments and stuff from a fandom and translate that to actual impact. Like there was all that stuff around when the Star Wars sequel movies were getting started, right? Force Awakens, even that initial teaser trailer. There's a bunch of like horrible, hateful stuff, right? There was racist stuff going around because of John Boyega's character. People saw it, had no idea what he was, and that's it. And they were being racist about it. And it seemed very serious, and it is a serious topic for sure. But I never got the sense that a large portion of the fandom felt that way about it. You know what I mean? So like those people were very loud, but I don't think they represent a big portion of the fandom. And I think it's a similar case when, I see fandoms, really dug in fandoms like Star Trek and Star Wars fandoms, get very upset about things not being the same. And I don't know if the studios are paying attention to that stuff or not, like the big decision makers. I just have no idea. I don't know their processes. Or something like this. Like right now, this is a Warhammer game. It is based on a very old property, and the fandom for Warhammer is very dedicated, very passionate. Let's say in a lot of instances, but thankfully they apparently the IP holders feel free to just say like, oh yeah, whatever, do like a little boomer shooter, and then we'll do our more serious game later this year. And the fandom seems okay with that. So I don't know. Maybe it speaks to the character of each fandom. Maybe it speaks to the character of the original material. I don't know. But there is variety in terms of like fandoms being okay with new things, and to your point, Tude's fandom's very very much not being okay with a new thing. And yeah, it's such a drag, and it's definitely not a good way to bring in new people. Like what is going to attract someone new to the franchise, the series, whatever, if it's just the same thing it's always been for 20, 30, 40 years. Anyway, just some rambling on that point. Oh boy. All right. Good. I don't know. Maybe the Warhammer fandom in particular is more chill than I think. It actually seems like kind of a funny community every time I come across their like meme pages and stuff. Um, what do we think? Is the Harry Potter fandom, without getting into too much of the weeds there, is the Harry Potter fandom accepting of new things, or do they really just want to write their fanfics about like the original characters, you know? That was definitely the vibe in the early days, I can tell you that firsthand. Long before those wonderful Fantastic Beasts movies that we all love. Come on. Nope, nope, nope. No, thank you. There we go. Okay. Ugo says Cartoon Saloon did an episode for Visions. You can tell right away due to the art. Oh, great! I didn't see them on the list, or I guess I didn't notice their thing. But love Cartoon Saloon, of course. Secret of Kells, Breadwinner, Wolfwalkers, and more. I don't have this, do I? Of course not. That's great. Yeah, so Aardman for sure. Doing stop motion something. Cartoon Saloon, obviously 2D traditional animation. And then I'm sure a ton of other studios that I didn't recognize or that I'm not familiar with their work yet. But like, it's Disney. They're not gonna call up some some, you know, random cheap animation house and ask them to do an episode of a Star Wars thing. They know what they're doing. Although it is kind of funny, like at its heart, or at least in its history, Disney is the animation studio, and nowadays they're like, we don't really want to do the animation stuff, so we'll just hire other people to do it. We'll just outsource our animation and focus on gritty live action stuff, I guess. Good, good, good. This guy's going for it. Okay. All right. Oh, hello. Boom. Is this helpful to us? Kind of. Where's my key? That's all I want. Give me my key and I'll leave you alone here in Pipe World. Huh? It's a good jump. Good jump height, huh? Meow. Oh, oh, oh. Where's my key? I just want my key. Thank you. This looks like something. Take this. All right. Thanks. All right. Ugo says Andor is just a good show for Star Wars, and it's just so different from the normal stuff. Can't wait for season 2, even if it takes longer due to the SWG strike. I'm more than happy to wait. Yeah, I've only ever heard good things about Andor. I don't think I've ever. Yeah, I don't think I've. Nope. I haven't heard anybody upset about Andor, and yeah, I still haven't watched it. Oh, I mean, I don't have Disney Plus, so that makes it a little more difficult. But I will. Don't worry, I will at some point. And then yeah, obviously the strike. Yeah, we could talk about the strike stuff. Yeah, it was funny after the I made that quick video about the writer strike stuff, very brief and obviously kind of rambly and everything. But yeah, a few days after that, I want to say I was driving up through Burbank, and the way I usually go takes me right past the Warner Brothers lot. Well, multiple lots at this point, but like I'm very familiar with, you know, where their gate is and everything. And yeah, tons of writers picketing out there on that day. And it was great. And it was kind of funny too, because when you drive past sort of the main entrance to WB, obviously it's, you know, big security gate, whatever, and a stoplight where they get priority. So if there's even one car trying to leave, they'll stop this major road, you know, just so that one person can leave WB. Anyway, that's another thing. But anyway, yeah, tons of writers striking out there and picketing and with their signs and everything, which is kind of fun to see. And but in front of that main entrance, they have like one of those construction signs where it's like, you know, road work ahead, or pay attention to this or that. But this time it said like excessive honking is against a Burbank City ordinance. So like you are not allowed to honk a bunch. And at first I was like, why is that there? But once I saw the writers picketing, I was like, oh, that's why. It is because people honk their horns in support of the writers on strike. And WB was getting mad about it. And so there were like cops all over the place and stuff. And I was like, yeah, for honking. So I decided to do a bunch of honking as I passed by the studio. And it's funny too, because like how would they get anybody for that? Like prove which car was honking at this time. Like it's just, it's kind of silly. But yeah, it was interesting to actually come up and see some of the writers out there. Instead of just reading about stuff online where it seems more abstract and distant, So that was kind of fun. That was kind of enjoyable there. Man, I haven't gotten lost really even once. Well, not for very long anyway. I usually get very lost in this game. Nope, done, cool. That was pretty good. Oh boy. Anyone here? Nope. No more grenades. Come on. Just chipping away. Okay. Take a little breather. There's a lot more. Toot says, how much of an impact do you think weird online anti-fans had on the direction of Rise of Skywalker? Last Jedi had good reviews, top rating on Cinema Score, made a healthy profit, but Disney panicked and acted as if Last Jedi never happened. The latter statement, 100%. Yeah, like it was so clear that, what is it? Is it called Last Skywalker? What is it called? Rise of Skywalker. Last Jedi, Rise of Skywalker, Force Awakens. They're not great names. Anyway, yeah, no, the third movie absolutely 100% felt like a direct reaction to fan response to Last Jedi as opposed to overall, critic response. Because as you mentioned, critics were on board with Last Jedi. That's something that I had to come to over time as well, because when I saw it in theaters at first, it didn't have a huge impact on me. And then after the fact, I was like, oh, you know what? That was actually kind of neat. And different, importantly, to our discussion here. Very different from standard Star Wars. Yes, you're right. It felt like a reaction. But at the same time, maybe it was also just JJ reacting. Maybe it was the producers reacting. Maybe they also didn't like Last Jedi for whatever their reasons were. And so they were fighting against it, and it just happened to align with a lot of fan reactions. Although, for a bunch of different reasons, Rise of Skywalker was just junk, and it didn't feel planned out. It felt like something that was put together very quickly. Very strange situation, but yeah, I do think I would agree that that's a good example of a big studio seemingly either responding directly to an entrenched fandom, or at the very least aligning themselves with that fandom with their own kind of efforts and their own approach and reaction to Last Jedi. Super non-traditional Star Wars movie for sure, and I think that's what a lot of people were really responding to, was just the fact that it didn't feel like the other movies. And then if you were lucky, those fans would try to engage with the movie on its own terms, Anyway. But yeah, like, it's not every fandom that has that amount of clout, right? It's not every fandom that an IP holder would feel compelled, to respond to their preferences, their desires, or whatever. How did that not? I hit you so many times with that. Oof. There we go. Okay. Sorry, let me catch up here because I think we have a few more. But yeah, they essentially retconned a lot of stuff about The Last Jedi, and especially in terms of tone and structure and writing of the third one. Yeah, it feels like a massive swing in momentum. Ugo says Harry Potter TV show is going to come to HBO. I was not familiar with this, and they're going to. So we're going to see what's going to happen. I think it was a good thing that Disney panicked, or we would not have gotten Knives Out and Knives Out Glass Onion. Yeah, the first Knives Out movie was after Last Jedi, wasn't it? Yeah, no, I mean, I agree. Those are very nice. The first the first Knives Out movie in particular, I really like. Glass Onion was pretty good. I wasn't as excited about it, but yeah, neat movie. And yeah, no, I think Rian Johnson is a very, very talented director. If you ever seen Brick was one of his very first movies. It might have been his first feature. Wild Times. I think back in high school, somebody showed me Brick. I was like, this is the coolest movie. And it's a cool movie. It's a cool movie, and especially for someone like getting into movies and filmmaking, like it there's a lot to like there and a lot to explore. So I do still recommend that one, even if it feels a little dated in terms of certain elements of style or like cultural references and stuff like that. Time period, slightly dated, but otherwise, yep, great movie, great music. I think it's his cousin who composes the music for a lot of his, composes the scores for a lot of his movies. Once again, very lost, but you know, that's how it was in the old days. That's just what you just had to deal with. Get lost in the game and waste hours of your life going around corridors. We really wanted to recreate that experience for younger gamers. Wasting time navigating right angle corridors. Can you be done? Can you be done now? I feel like you should be dead. Wow. Yeah, I need it. Hang on. I think this is the good way to backtrack. What do I got here? I was not familiar with the Harry Potter TV show. Is there anything on like the premise of that one that we can dig into and make fun of? What else? Toot says, also to be fair, I would really like some sort of show that has the vibes of TNG era Star Trek, but I don't let that affect my judgment of Star Trek shows that are airing now. No, I think that's a good, perspective. If you're looking for my 2 cents. Yeah, I think that's a great way to take it. That said, we'll see. I do think they could make a lot of people happy very easily by just mimicking the tone of TNG, even if it's only for something relatively short, a relatively small project that kind of has that feel. Why not is sort of my perspective on that one. But yeah, they are trying to do different things. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, on its own terms. So there you go. Ugo says, dude, that is Lower Decks. Comes right after DS9. And episodes that show a lot of DS9 crews was great. Even the intro for that episode was great. Oh, okay. So you're saying in a way that Lower Decks is delivering that for the TNG or DS9 fans, the TNG DS9 era of Trek. Yeah, I mean, I think you could get even closer too. Like you, just in terms of production and everything, I think you could easily mimic that style, even just as like a novelty, and people would be happy about it. Where do you want me to exit? Right here? Is this where I exit? There we go. Good. Excuse me. Pardon me. Excuse me. Sorry. And do I have that? Yes. Now what? Aha. LD. So that's how people refer to Lower Decks. Okay. Yeah, every Trek show has to have a and initialism, right? Okay. Just stab in the dark. I'm going to go this way and see how it works out for us. Stop. 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 Okay, some supplies. Excuse me. All right. Also, yes, season 3 of Picard goes pretty hard in that direction without just outright spoiling anything. There are plenty of moments that try very, very hard to capture the TNG feel. And everybody was okay with that. Like, it seemed like just about everybody I saw online or reviewing the show or whatever, old Trek fans, new Trek fans, whoever, it seems like everybody was okay with that, you know. And in particular, the TNG fans were just like, oh, okay, we've been serviced. We've been sufficiently fan serviced. And hopefully that will hold them / us for many years into the future, because I don't see the point in directly resurrecting, you know, the TNG characters or, you know, ship or any of that. Like, it's definitely time to put those to rest finally. But it's taken a very long time to get there. It's taken, what, 40 years basically to get to that point. These guys who just charge at you, it's a whole thing, isn't it? They're really, really distracting. Oh no, one of those guys. Oh, this is bad. Good thing I turned on streamer mode, because this is not a fight that will go well. New guys, blue guys. There you go. Cool. What's up here? Okay. Now what weapon do we use for the big guy? Come on. Okay. All right. Ooh, look at that. What does that do? Am I doing more damage now or something? Sorry, I'll get back to chat in just a second. This is a little more intensive. Gotta focus a bit more on this particular guy. There we go. Look at all these goodies. Yum, yum, yum. Oh, excuse me, sir. Okay. Cool. Okay, don't know where I'm going, but let's take a quick breather. All right. Yeah. Hugo says, for Harry Potter, each school year will be a season. They're thinking about having 10 seasons in all due to how they're going to need to film it back to back. The episodes I'm talking about of Lower Decks, season 3, episode 6. Hear all, trust nothing. Okay, cool. Who knows? If I have a way of watching Lower Decks that doesn't involve Paramount Plus, I would be willing to try. Anyway, but yeah, Harry Potter series. I mean, well, for one thing, I'm not surprised at all that new Harry Potter show exists. That makes perfect sense. They will continue to milk that property for many, 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 many years into the future. That's just something we all have to kind of accept, whether we like it or hate it. And yeah, that's just the direction things are going, right? I mean, very obviously with the Disney Star Wars stuff, wholesale have transitioned into wholesale transitioned into shows, miniseries, one-offs, whatever, rather than full-on movies. And I don't know how the budgets of those shows compare. We know that the budgets of, the features are massive, of course, but the shows look great too. They cast top quality talent. So I would assume the budgets are actually kind of similar, and also you're filming a lot more footage for a live action show as compared to, um, you know, a feature film in most cases. Uh, so that could very easily be the way of the future, where these companies that hold big IPs see it as lower risk to try something different if it's in the form of a series rather than a huge theatrical movie that they'll have to, promote and pay to theaters for them to carry it and all this different stuff. So just a hunch, but yeah, it does kind of seem like that's the direction things are going. So yeah, rather I don't know if the Fantastic Beasts series of Harry Potter films were especially successful. I think they were moderately successful. Definitely didn't measure up to the original run of movies, of course. So if they looked at those numbers and said, not happening, we're not going to try to do yet another new series of movies, especially so soon. Okay, then it kind of makes sense, that just a show, and specifically releasing through Max/HBO Max provides a certain amount of clout, right? Because already HBO has had a very good run of streaming exclusive shows that have, won awards and been really well liked by whatever fandoms. Last of Us, of course, being the most recent example. So yeah, not too surprised that it's happening in general. The series format makes sense in my mind. And yes, obviously the structure of going to that school works for a series as well. And there have been plenty of other shows that follow that similar format of, characters are going to school. I still don't have the key. Season by season, we see them progress, so that works out just fine. And I guess it would also be a potentially exciting opportunity to do things with introducing new characters, right? Like, oh, new year, new batch of students coming to Hogwarts or whatever school this is. I'm completely lost now, by the way. So yeah, I'm vaguely interested in that idea, although whether I, I do not really feel like supporting any Harry Potter product going forward, but yeah, I do like those old movies for sure, especially because they weren't things that I watched as they were releasing. So there's a bit of a particular nostalgia to that. Yeah, I'm lost. Somebody let me know if you see the red key. I do not. There's somewhere I'm supposed to climb up. Maybe. No? Seems like I could get up there. Get up there. Let's take a break. Okay, what else we got? Toot says, I'm also one of the few people who really like Gene Roddenberry's idea of not having an interpersonal conflict between crew members in early seasons of TNG. Yes. A controversial topic for sure. There's something uniquely satisfying about watching a crew of competent people working together effectively to solve problems. Yeah, and I do think they were able to continue that throughout, with maybe the exception of a handful of episodes, where even when there is interpersonal conflict, you still have faith that, like, the crew of the Enterprise D is knows exactly what they're doing. And I agree that, like, the competence is very appealing. That's also something that Mike Staklasa of Red Letter Media has talked about, and I was recently watching some of their reviews of New Trek stuff. The key's just right here. Okay. And yeah, he shares that sentiment very closely of just like, yeah, these are mature people who are doing their jobs and they're really good at doing their jobs. And so obviously you're concerned about, their well-being as they're in the process of solving a problem, but you don't really doubt whether or not they'll be able to solve the problem. You know that they're going to do whatever it takes to, resolve the situation, the weird sci-fi nonsense that they happen to be experiencing that day. So totally. Yep. I'm on board with that. And now I've lost the door that I needed the red key for. Toots also says, even if that wouldn't be a viable way to write 200 plus episodes of the same show. Yeah. And you know what? Like we could talk about this for a long, long time. Keep it, relatively brief and not repeat other people too much. There we go. Yeah. So For anyone who isn't familiar, that was a thing in the early days of Star Trek TNG, is that Gene Roddenberry was still alive, he was around, and he had a ton of sway in terms of how the show was being created. And he didn't feel that there should be episodes about interpersonal conflicts between different members of the cast. And the challenge there is that you still have to write television, and television, or, you know, a lot of standard storytelling, not just on television, is based on conflict, and specifically interpersonal conflict, because that generates drama. Roddenberry was like, no, you are not allowed to do that. And as a result, there are a lot of season 1 episodes and even season 2 episodes where it's just there, you almost don't get a sense for the characters at all. The characters just feel somewhat samey in their competence and professionalism, and there aren't a ton of opportunities for them to sort of breathe and to get a sense for different personalities and everything. And then in subsequent seasons, they kind of updated that, and I think they found a very smart way to they didn't go whole hog into a thing where the characters are mad at each other. So they did kind of keep to Gene Roddenberry's original request, but they still made drama. They created interpersonal drama. Maybe it was, guest characters or something like that, or it could have been the long time, main cast members as well. But it always resolved. That was the key. It wasn't like this ongoing thing where you're like, oh, these two characters hate each other and they have this massive grudge and it's going to stretch across an entire season. That it never went that far. And I think one of the major benefits of allowing that kind of conflict in the show over the seasons was that they can explore the characters now. You can actually get a sense for who the characters are and what their individual foibles are, their inner conflicts, personal weaknesses and stuff like that. So it's a big topic when talking about TNG, and specifically that transition from season 1 to the rest of the series, because it does start to feel very different than how it felt when they were starting out. So anyway, it's a big thing for Trekkies talking about the show. Ugo says, I don't know. HP actors are going to have to be kids, and I just don't feel like watching kid actors. Okay, I mean, hey, yeah, that's your preference. That's A-okay by me. But just to share... Oh no, is this like a platforming section? But just to share my... Am I going to have to do all that over again just to get back up there? I am. Okay. That's all right. That's all right. It's fine. Anyway, this is something I've kind of noticed through the years, and plenty of other people have too, and it's not across the board. This is not something I'm saying that is true 100% of the time. But I do think that there's been a kind of consistent improvement to I can't go in it. Nowhere to go. To kid actors in general, like the abilities and performance capabilities of child actors. I feel like there has been improvement on that front. I don't know why. Maybe the acting coaches, like sort of specializing in, child actors and stuff, have just been improving year by year or something weird like that. I don't know. But regardless of the reason, I do think that it's more common now for me to come across a show or a movie that prominently features a child actor, and I actually enjoy the performance. Again, not sure why, but it's definitely a thing. And one of the big examples I will point to is the Wet Hot American Summer sequel series, which is called First Day of Summer. There's First Day of Summer and then 10 Years Later, right? And in both of those, there are like really good child actors. Not all of them are good, but there's some child actors in those that are just nailing it. Like they're really funny. They have great comedic timing. They know how to, find their mark. They know how to do a little improv with other cast members. So I'm actually pretty impressed. And that for some reason feels like a more recent development. Anyway, that's just my 2 cents. But yeah, if you're not into kid actors in general, totally get it. And hey, they could be insufferable in this series. Like, we might hate all of the child performances in this new Harry Potter series. Who's to say? But yeah, but I don't know. Idea in general, it makes sense for the Harry Potter universe. So I'm not surprised to hear that that's the approach they're taking. What do we think? Is this helpful for us? Or is this where we came from? No, I guess not, because there are enemies here. Okay. Also, I'll stream, I guess, for a little bit longer. I don't want to, like, take up anybody's day or anything, But yeah, since we have tomorrow off here in the U.S., or at least a lot of people have off tomorrow for Memorial Day, I figured this was a nice time. Because typically what I'm doing on Sundays is just kind of feeling bad and, like, I don't like heading into the new week. So Sundays aren't my favorite day. I just kind of stress out about the work I have to do and everything. But since we have tomorrow off, I'm not doing that today for this particular Sunday. So I thought a stream would be nice, and it has been way too long since I've streamed. So that's what I got. And yeah, this has been fun. This is nice. I hope the stream has held up okay. It actually says that the quality of the stream has been jumping higher than it ever does. So weird situation. I will never understand these Wi-Fi network issues or anything like that. So whatever. But yeah, we'll see. So whether or not I'll be returning to like a super solid weekly streaming schedule, I don't know. Maybe. As long as it's not during work hours, I could do that just fine. But yeah, we'll have to see how the schedule shakes out. And by the way, I have a feeling this is only for the people who've dug this deep into the stream. But I have a feeling that 70s Animation Month will continue for multiple months ahead. It's still 1 month, don't worry, but there's a lot more to cover. And it just so happened that like May was not, I just didn't have a lot of free time to make videos. So I have a feeling 70s Animation Month will, be much longer than originally anticipated. Which I'm kind of into. I've enjoyed talking about these movies. And there's so many more. And so far it's all been American movies, which I don't want the whole series to just be American movies. So I'll change it up there. But I am working on more of those. That is important to me. Yeah. So that is also on the list. That is on my list of things to do with my limited amount of free time. And who knows, maybe some other videos. I've even been toying around with the idea of trying to do some completely different videos that wouldn't fit into the channel at all. So maybe soon I'll publish some of that stuff. But yeah, it's just finding the time, as you guys already know, whether it's school or just life stuff, whatever. Free time is basically always in short supply if you're an adult person. It's just kind of how it goes. And heck, if I can't find this purple key, I feel like that would necessitate shutting down this game, because I don't want to subject people to, 15 minutes of me just going around the same old corridors. Just like, I don't know. Because this is like area 1 where I couldn't find the red key. So... right? Or it looks completely identical to the place where I couldn't find the red key. Oh, this is the... Oh, there's an enemy. That's a good sign. No. Too fast. There we go. Or were you guarding the purple key? Oh, he was. Stream quality was good by the standard of your streams, but I did lose several minutes over the past. Oh no, it shouldn't be dropping anything. I mean, apparently it is. But yeah, it says that I haven't dropped any frames. It's just that the bitrate drops. But yeah, that's too bad. Well, I'm glad that it's at least held up, because the last couple of times I tried to stream, I think I could only do like 10 minutes before I was just like, this stinks. Like, this is stupid. Let's stop. So I'm glad it's been at least mostly functional for today. But anyway, what was the point of that? Yeah, that was not helpful. Ugo says, Chris Columbus got so tired of working with kids after Harry Potter. Then when he was doing Percy Jackson and the Infants, he just used actors that were 19 to play 13-year-old kids. That's funny. I mean, I'm sure that's accurate, but it's funny that it's true. That's pretty great. By the way, I recently saw another Chris Columbus movie for the first time that was post Harry Potter for him. It was Rent. I had never seen the Rent movie before at all. I had never seen it once, and now I have. So now I know about Rent. And that's basically all I have to say about that. New gun? What is this? Is it like a continuous beam? Yes, it is. Okay. All right. Anyway, yeah, I'll wrap up relatively soon. Let me see if there's like a good stopping point here. Okay. Yeah, just kind of melts guys, huh? I could see this being useful for a couple things. Sounds pretty good too. I feel like I'm not getting the full effect with the one ear cup on. But it does sound pretty nice. Probably wasting all my ammo too. Come on. Yep, that was it. Excuse me. Yep. Okay. Can I go up here? Nope, nothing fun up there. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I'm also gonna get lost here, so I'll probably leave soon. Let's see. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, if anyone else has any quick recommendations or anything for stuff I should check out or things to potentially make videos about, please let me know. Always open to that. And Toods, we'll see. I was mentioning to Ugo earlier, there is a Discord for the channel that I never promote, and I have to make invite links each time, so I don't post it all the time. But if you feel like joining that, just let me know. I'll send you an invite link, but it's just a few of us who chat about channel-related stuff and animation and things. So I go on there whenever I'm on Discord, which is not all the time, but it can be fun, like chatting with people outside of the channel, because it means I don't have to look at comments or anything like that. So we got him. Cool. Yeah, this is a boring cave area. Maybe we should just call it there. Save real quick. Save. Great. Quit. Cool. Okay. Yeah, boy, the bitrate is all over the map. It's swinging more wildly than ever before. All right. But yeah, I think that just about brings us to a close. It's felt good. I've really enjoyed this, you know, getting back to it. Doing anything streaming stuff, because it's also kind of a form of socialization. Kind of. Where I can talk with people. Two just was clarifying it's not necessarily dropping, it's just the stream pauses for a few seconds and restarts at the same point. Oh no. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, sorry about that again. Yeah, maybe it's something like if I end up moving at some point, I feel like it would immediately improve. Because the building is so old. But that's a big issue for Wi-Fi communication. Cool. Is that everything? Is there anything else I need to mention? I don't think so. Yeah, more videos on the way, of course, when I can get them finished. potentially completely different kinds of videos in the near future, although you'll have to hunt around for those ones. And yeah, getting used to the new schedule and everything. So I'll see what kind of pace I can keep with the channel, but it's obviously something that I will continue to do. Cool. All right. Well, anybody in the US happens to be watching, happy Memorial Day weekend. If you're into that, everybody should be into the time off at the very least. Anybody who has to work the holiday, thank you very much. That's necessary for plenty of jobs. But yeah, everyone else, yeah, thanks so much for watching live, especially you